Welcome back, Dynamic Gang. If you're new to the channel, man, you already know what to do. So we're gonna do Madolche Salon today, or Salon, and then after that, we're only gonna have 3 more cards left, and then I'm gonna probably be working on maybe a Wolverine versus Sabretooth drawing, and then from there, we're going to jump right over to the scrap deck. That's my goal. Well, that's what I want to do. So, all right. So we're going to get right into it. Let me just bring this up. Just over here doodling on the scrap. Yeah, the Madolche's, the backgrounds and whatnot are a little bit more intricate than I thought they were, you know, so that's why they take a little bit longer. The videos I wanted to be under 10 minutes, but I noticed that they're reaching a lot, like between 12 to 15. Doing my best to try to keep them short because, like I said, man, when I watch videos on YouTube, if it's a longer video, you know, I don't have the attention span to just sit there and watch it. You know what I'm saying? So, that's that, and that card is amazing if you ever played the Madolche Salon or Salon. The other thing I want to touch base on, it was kind of funny because me and my wife were talking about when we were driving in, we were talking about like how she left her phone one day at work and she didn't have a landline to call, even if, so she had to drive all the way back. This was way before we even met. And then I said, yeah, man, I guess up until this point, I never even thought about having a landline just for that emergency. And she's like, nobody has a landline anymore. And then I got to talking about, like, did you imagine, like, how all, like, Earth looks from space with, like, all the satellite and debris? I wonder how much garbage is really up there, right? So she goes, it's really funny what she said. So then she goes, oh man, it's probably like if the aliens ever came, they were like, oh man, we're in the ghetto, man. It's like everything's all thrown around, all trash everywhere, man. We in the hood. Oh my God, bro. That shit had me laughing. I was like, true. Could you imagine how, if there was an alien species that did come over here and you talk about landing, they probably looked at this and like, oh, what a garbage ass dump this is, man. Hell no, I'm doing a Yui on this. Let's get the hell out of here. You know, and you know, or maybe if it was like one of those aliens, like people have that theory about that we've been visited from thousands and thousands of years. And it could be like one of the alien species is probably like, oh, this planet used to be so beautiful. Look what happened to it. Now it's the slums. Oh man, I was dying, man. I was rolling. That junk had me laughing, but it makes you think about all the satellites because everybody has a cell phone, right? So, and I'm recording on a cell phone. I'm doing all my editing and everything on my cell phone right now. So, and especially with your laptop and computer, everything is all Wi-Fi. You have to remember you need a satellite to do all the GPS, all the networking, all the bouncing off everywhere. I mean, like, if you think about it, how many satellites are up there? And how does it look really from, like, if we were looking from Earth and we were in space? Like, how much debris is really, like orbiting our planet, you know? And the other thing I want to touch up on is Young Z. If y'all don't know who Young Z is, I don't know if he's the leader, but he was one of the original people of The Outsiders. And if y'all know about my channel, about me making like reaction videos, you know that I'm not a reaction channel, so I don't pretend to be. I just touch on certain songs that I feel like need to be listened to. You know, like I want people to be more aware of these great performers that I grew up with, and I want a lot of people to really go back in the archives and look at these goats, as you would say, and see about, like, you know, we still got Rakim coming. We got a lot of things coming. And, you know, this is like bricks of the foundation that help build like the hip hop, right? So I was listening to Young Z and he had the interview, and if you all know who As Is going after Eminem because he feels like Eminem owes him, and then Young Z was like, yeah, man, Eminem don't owe nobody nothing, man. Like we good. Like we went on tour with Eminem. We don't have no bad blood. Pace One was with him, and Pace One was like, I think he's one of the original members of Outsiders. And that's another shout out to Brick City because, these are battle rappers. These are, you want to talk about, what was it, 93 or 94? I think the Outsiders. It could even be earlier than that. But, you got Naughty by Nature, Redman, Queen Latifah. I mean, I don't know if I don't know if Prodigy was New Jersey or if he's New York. I know he was with Mobb Deep, but there's like three or four other, of course Joe Budden, but there's three or four other people that I remember in New Jersey, but I can't remember exactly their names. I grew up listening to a lot of that stuff, but there's a couple DJs, and New Jersey's always been on the map. The same thing with Philadelphia, New York. These are all battle rap grounds. And don't ever sleep on Philly because there's a lot of people that came out of Philly. And New York, Philly, Brick City, Jersey City, there's like Jersey has always been one of the, a lot of people like to call us like a distant cousin from New York, but hey man, we're on the map, And the only reason I bring that up is because when I was listening to Young Z, and I see that he had a picture with Snoop Dogg, and I also saw a picture with Tupac, Biggie, and Big Pun, So you have to remember, like we don't even stop to remember that the rap game, the rap world is really actually small. Like everybody kind of knows everybody, Like if you grew up in hip hop and you became a good artist, those older generation artists are going to take that time to get to know you. They're going to want to talk to you. They're going to want to see how you feel about certain things, see your point of view. And, this is why I say the world is really small. It's a very small world. Same thing with hip hop. You forget that Eminem was like one of those guest appearances of, I don't want to say guest appearances. I don't know if he was, I guess he was a member of the Outsiders. I know Rod Digger was, but I mean, like, it's almost like a Spider-Man kind of thing. You know how Spider-Man isn't really an Avenger, but he kind of is, and he kind of like comes in for a few issues, but he kind of does his own thing. Well, that's the same thing I think about Rod Digger. That's the same thing I think about Eminem. Certain candidates like that, like they're technically part of the group, but they kind of do their own little thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but the same thing with Wolverine. When Wolverine was with the X-Men, Wolverine would break apart, but he would have his own solo missions. But then he was kind of part of the X-Men team, and he still did his own thing with the X-Men, but he's still, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's an outsider. Exactly, right? And shout out to Young Z and Pace One, and this is all part of my childhood, and it's just kind of interesting. I just want to touch about how small the hip hop community really is. I was also reading somewhere, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know, not everything you hear on the internet or read on the internet is 100% accurate. So if you know maybe it's not right or anything, just leave a comment and let me, school me a little bit. But didn't Queen Latifah find Leaders of the New School, which had Busta Rhymes? If you think about it, they all connected. They're all connected somehow. Shout out to Queen Latifah. And Eve from Philly. Come on, man. Like Rough Riders, And that's basically what I want to touch up on, like just how small the hip hop community really is. Like you think like it's so vast and there's so many artists, but the community itself is really small because people know each other. People bump into each other. People take the time to interact, And the same thing with 50 Cent and Ja Rule and that whole beef. I think that whole beef even happened even before he was signed with Eminem, because 50, was he like back in 95, 94 that he was in the streets and he came out with his own, again, this is all information that this is all information that that I've read. I don't know if it's 100% true. Let me know if it is or not. But didn't he come up with a few EPs and then he got locked up, or that whole thing happened with Gotti and all that, and then with him getting shot and stuff like that. I don't know exactly how. I know bits and pieces about Ja Rule and 50 Cent, about how the beef goes all the way back, but I never really cared to really research the beef 100% because Ja Rule at one point, he was, from what, 98 till like 2001 or 2002, he was pretty much has it'd even be later than that, that he had that nice little run. But when 50 came out, man, he was just a force. And 50 still is a force. He made a lot of good business moves. But, again, I don't pretend to know everything about the history. So if you know exactly what happened, just leave it down in the comments, because I'm curious to know, because I'm a fan of hip hop. I love hip hop, and it's always been a part of me. It's like a staple in my life. So, but it's interesting to see how outsiders that you don't really hear anything from them for such a long time, and you forget these great artists, and then all of a sudden they come out of nowhere and you're like, oh, God damn, I haven't heard from this dude in I don't know how long. And then you figure out that he's tied in with this, he's tied in with that, he got his hands over here. It's like, damn, I ain't even peeped that, So it's kind of like I feel happy, man. I feel happy that Young Z is still doing his thing, man. It was all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's done. This is the Madolche Salon, or Salon. Now, I always thought salon had to do with like your hair and whatnot, but apparently it means something entirely different. Yep. The background, the details, man, that's what took us a little bit longer to do these, is the backgrounds. And another thing is, the reason why I don't color these in, it also saves time, Like, I want to make as many of the Madolche cards as we can. And, later on, maybe we'll go back, we'll color them. But I mean, like, again, I want to make a coloring book first, and then we'll go back and then we'll color it, because, I'm not the greatest colorer in the world, and I know people specialized in that. They just, there's certain people that can't draw, but they can color. Kind of goes hand in hand. So, thank you.